Welcome. On CK map there are a lot of figures of historical renown, like Charlie here. These individuals are predetermined and will have the same traits, familial relationship, etc. Conversely, there exist rulers who, how do I put it mildly, they are famous, but locally. Such characters are procedurally generated, endowed with randomized traits, arbitrary educations, and even unpredictable offsprings. Their lives are created by a dice roll. Only name, crest, and held land is immutable. Today I shall assume the role of one such individual. Allow me to introduce Judice Gublenu of Vittore dynasty. I will use my fiscal talents to lift his brethren from obscurity and put them atop of the tallest island of all Mediterranean. Default game rules? Alright, time to play the game. Let's see what God of RNG gave me. Fortune Builder? Not bad. And Heir? Diplomacy. That's a bit... it's fucking terrible. Damn, I look at his stats and I want to cry. Alright, and our guy got avaricious, so there would be more income. I will go into medicine focus for a Hall of Body tree in hope to prolong his mortal life and delay the dark day when his son will be called into office. Absolutely naturally put Steward onto development task. Development must flow. Switch research focus to moats, cause they will provide revenue faster. Weirdly, northern part of the island is held by my second son, but I have a claim on it. This is a family matter. After resolving differences, I will put Marshal on increasing control, cause that affects taxation. Wow, look at my courtiers, this guy are fucking great. I will build Murex fissures for a little bit of development growth. Build a trade port next and then start upgrading. Being in medicine focus provides me with event to become athletic. That is a bit more extra time. It's like I have a single bookkeeper that knows how to run things, and the moment he dies, I will go bankrupt. A local fisherman shows up, claiming to be proficient in fish magic, some kind of Lovecraftian bullshit. But I have a chance to become a witch, and I like Covenant's activities, so I play alone. This school of witchery seems to be defective, and I gain a nickname for doing varied stuff. Peace deal is over, time to go and take 5th domain. Additional coins flow into my coffer. The only problem is that Gublenu starts to appear a bit pale. A brief side story, I don't know why, but all of his sons for some reasons are from different house. I tried to research it, but to no avail. I invited now landless second son to my court. I will make some use of him later. Also, we start as Orthodox. I choose to opt into Catholicism for tax refund from Pope, and I am considering becoming vassal of Italy to be able to wage war for Corsica from inside. The call for crusade is being issued, which is sudden and quite early. And I get notification that this is the end of the line. Gublenu, I will remember you, and all the money you made. Let's see what our law says. If you are struggling with succession, just embrace it, and then use traditional diplomacy to take titles back. Looks like my plan with Italy went up in flames. But it will be easier to fight Corsica once he loses his allies. External aggression, on the other hand, remains a persistent threat. Looking at my pitiful relatives, I suddenly came up with an interesting idea. I will marry both of them to elderly, so they will not be able to get heirs, and their share will return to me, naturally. The succession happens. Looks like there were changes to AI, and they will now grow up in Holy City before setting up the crusade target. I cannot pass on genius trait. Lost legitimacy means nothing compared to genetics. I had to send 600 peasants to their deaths, so no one had luxury of asking why I did not participate. Saving face is everything. Well, a boy would be preferable, but since she is a genius, I have no right to complain. Therefore I take Restraint perk and embraced celibacy to prevent happy accidents and ensure smooth succession. I started increasing troops to re-establish ownership when brother died of old age and I inherited Tortoli. So I went to my other brother. I took him hostage and ransom, and then took his land after siege. Now that lands will safely go to my daughter, and having some money on hands, time to start building. I abhor empty building slots. After 11 years, Fellictu frees me from his incompetence. Well, at least that was brief, and he did give me Justa, so I will cut him some slacks. Now I have a stable domain and good playing character, so it is time to start handling stuff. I even retain unpressed claim on missing piece of Sardinian pie. Sardinian pie? Wait, is that a thing? Whoa, you learn something new every day. 15 stewardship, 11 learning, genius mother will be a great guardian. I will keep building the moment I get enough money. There is enough domain limit because of a regent, so go for war on claim, cause that is half a goal that is not going my way. Inefficiency I cannot tolerate. Previous generation passed away. We have 4 people in House Lacon now. I build buildings that give money because rising development anywhere except capital in early medieval is ineffective, but having more money always works. We are having a situation here. This guy thinks that he has what it takes. Well, he does have marginally larger amount of troops than I, but he declared a holy war, so I have an ally. We beat the shit out of him. And again. And again. He even paid me in the end, but I would do it for free. I would like you to matrilineally marry someone with strong trait. Great, now I have a vanguard accolade. Oh, this guy is building mine. That will be 20% more development bonus, and eventually that castle will be mine, but later about that. Now I need to save up between building to always have enough for a hunt and attend them as soon as possible to stockpile prestige. Tax centralization perk to amplify development in capital. That was the most important thing for now. So I can switch to scholarship to gain learning bonus for university success. I gain Midas Touch. That will accelerate experience gain once I go back to stewardship. Sadly, only one perk to unlock. Castle building increases time that it takes for enemy to capture it, but yields no income, so I will switch it to economically correct building. City building is finished. Next thing that I need for this particular run is plenary assemblies, so I can revoke titles. I religiously keep my placking campaign, eventually amassing prestige sufficient to establish the industrious tradition. That will allow to build mills one era earlier, not to mention a bit of development each time I construct something. I finished Scholar Tree, last perk grants another 15% development bonus, and Learning is used as modifier for Research and Fascination as well. Now time to go for Hall of Body. I married for robust trait, I hope for a boy and a girl. It is a daughter with perfectly inherited traits. You know, for quite some time I have suspected that male offspring have diminished odds. And a second one, Well, now the realm will split. In desperate attempt, I go for the seduction at the age of 44. And guess what? Success. Well, not yet, it might be third daughter. Yay! I love gambling. Have no doubts there even for a fraction of a second. There is 20 years cooldown for attended university, and when notification comes that it is available again, I go right away. With all buffs to learning, I am more likely to succeed than not, and I acquire the Golden Sovereign trait. I was very close to 20 development, and after Plague Devastation, I am close once again. The game mechanics incentive is that you marry your daughters to get alliances. But sometimes your allies fail to show up to wars in efficient manner, so I prefer matrilineal marriages for genetics. After completing Whole of Body, I switch to the wealth focus. My stewardship is already sufficient for the main limit, additional income now takes precedence. The Sardinian ruler is exceptionally adept at matchmaking, always maintaining at least 2 alliances. But I am patient. Increased amount of footmen, benefiting from a +1 size bonus provided by Vanguard accolade. I finished upgrading buildings in my holding, and now I will construct first city and build a guild in it to secure another development bonus for capital county. I prefer to educate female members of the house in learning, that makes them Okage guardians no matter what is the ward education path. Over time this has become a reflex for me. Also 35 stewardship and 25 learning were not able to produce level 4 trait for my heir, so there are no guarantees. Now I don't have any room for investment except establishing new cities and constructing there. I finally finished plenary assemblies and now can focus on important stuff, like monorealism. There is only one county that possesses more than 2 vacant building slots, so I built my first temple holding there. Justa predictably outlives her husband. With childbearing no longer possible, I marry the individual with the highest stewardship, as this directly influences monthly income. All? Yeah, this guy will do perfectly. I will increase to limited crown authority to be able to perform revocation, and take this second castle into my custody. Now I have a mine, that just increased income from 15 to 25. I construct breweries, one of the few temple buildings that generate development. The Pope declared crusade, and I am absolutely thrilled about the fact that Corsica lost all of its allies. I immediately pull my fabricated claim on Vecchio and declare war. The execution is swift, without any complication. I even left to participate in crusade while the war score was ticking. If during holy military intervention you personally command army during battle or siege, you will get Crusader trait. That gives a bit of military stats and opinion, and I hope Pope will like me more. But this particular campaign isn't going very well, so after creating a participation alibi, I just set sail home. Also, my son Vittore is a genius, he's a bit of an idiot and got caught. And I can't pay ransom while Crusade is still on. And it is going for some time already. Time sure flies by when you are having fun. I am sad. Gonna go take myself a piece of Corsica. I will usurp duchy that will make me eligible for king position, but that increases cost of activities, so I opt to remain duke, especially since succession will not fragment my realm. Alright, I will be dead within a year, that's concerning. Well, maybe I will run away from prison. Well, Justa, we had a good run. Prolific hunter, golden sovereign, lots of good stuff. I will need to upgrade everything I can while I have architect trait. This guy gonna live longer cause he is robust and... wait. That was ambitious. He become paranoid in prison event. Oh yes, this embarrassment is fucking over. Send him back, I will pay. I will marry him for stewardship so he will have enough to hold the main. And since he is not ruler yet, there is no damage to legitimacy for marrying a lowborn. Thus begins the story of Archon Vittore. Going into the main and putting wife on managing gives just enough to get needed limit for my holdings. He is a bit tense. I will host a feast, that is the fastest way to lose stress. Yep, that's better. But 100% stress gain from paranoid will haunt me for some time. I will start farming prestige on Han's activities and visit holy sites for pilgrim trade. Given that even slightest inconvenience brings ton of stress, I am extremely motivated. Despite that, I will still risk a university visit. After finishing most critical stuff in stewardship, I transitioned to learning. I went to attend coronation and there for absolutely free I secured a teeny bit of prestige needed for new tradition. That would be city keepers to enable building mills in city holdings. Hi, I know it's dark outside, but have you considered witchcraft? Alright, that went better. Let's start converting members of the house. Well, my wife departed, I need to remarry. Let's look for someone beautiful. Only one candidate. But it is important to have 2 level 3 traits, so at least one will be passed. Well, whatever, legitimacy is less important than genetics. And I don't exactly have vassals to appease anyway. She is managing the main, but I am still a bit short. So I will reset my perks and redistribute them towards divided attention. Also, we are about to start building more, so it is warranted. Complete my realm with Bastia. My future heir will not be in such haste to amass prestige for tradition, therefore I believe it is a good moment to become kingdom. And the most important thing we get with it is obviously royal architect. Time to do some public work for the sake of development. Fixed court amenities for stress management. And via administrative court, so it fits perfectly. Huh. Alright, I am now spawn of Satan. Sounds daring. That's great. This guy inherited genius and level 1 for 2 others. So, behold the future Bloodfather. Magistrat's technology finished and now there is one additional building slot. I have windmills tradition and before any town mayor does anything stupid, I will go and build a windmill in every city. With all of that finished, I can uphold Shape the Realm oath, thereby reducing construction cost for a quarter. Now build mills in all of my holdings. And upgrade them. Now we are finally playing tall. The thing before was more akin to surviving on the streets, scraping for food. I will also upgrade the city in my capital to increase development, but others will have to fend for themselves. Start researching coinage to top that off. After finishing manorialism, I upgraded castle to level 2, and that unblocked next level of buildings in it. And after doing the same in Iglesias County, I upgraded the mine. Don't have much money now though. Everything I earn I invest immediately. After scraping together sufficient funds, made taxation office. I added feudal elective to duchy titles to eliminate possibility of their division. Alright, Vittore II joined in. All constructing goes on hold until architect trait and shape the realm oaths are acquired. I take strengthen the bloodline decision, that will increase chance of passing good traits and also give some disease resistance. Another crusade fails. Is it the third or the fourth? Things align pretty quickly and in a few years I am back on real estate rampage. Also 10 years remain until the high medieval era. We are already eligible to advance. Things are looking up. Oh, legendary sightseeing. I am not busy with anything, so I can actually give it a try. After all, it is actually how you do. Ahab achievement. You need to have 0 vassals, so hunts always happen in your land. Don't forget to change the intent. Am I a good hunter? Not much. I will not risk personally. Cast the dice. Well, look at that. From first try no less. I expected like 5. And I gained 2 artifacts. Here goes the hide of white boar. Yeah, it's actually white. And here the skull of white boar. Neat. And this is, well, it was always quite buggy. Court grandeur bonus caught up to max, and I would like level 7 for extra development. So let's add some more. I ran out of buildings to upgrade, so now there is nothing to do except wait for arrival of new era. Sardinia is becoming quite yellow, more yellow than Rome. We have 62 development, they have 49. Haha, losers. The dead boar still haunts my dreams, and just like that, Vittore became a lunatic. Alright, time to visit the Silk Road. Just customize journey to avoid dangers. And with that, Sardinian culture now has waterworks. Plague resistance is always welcomed. At last got my hands on architected ancestry. The most reliable way to factor in fecund trait. Regarding genetics, Queen is 48 and can no longer have children, but since I am no longer a nobody, Pope has high opinion of me, so I request divorce. I value Herculean more, so let's search for that. Only one? And what about beautiful? Even worse. Alright, let's go for the first candidate. We have troubles gaining more people in this house. I am not doing very good job. I somehow failed university with 29 learning, but what can you do? At least I got 3 perks. 50 years from last establishing of tradition passed, so I will adopt maritime mercantism. I mean, we do have a lot of coasts. We need someone Herculean here? Now, this is a good marriage. Hoarding fascination is discovered. I can finally start things going, so I modernize all of my castles. I have saved up enough. and go for windmill stacks next, for extra building slot. Murex fissures are not economical building, therefore they are blocked only by holding level, and ports can be upgraded one era earlier because of maritime mercantilism. Daughter comes of age, and there is enough adult witches in-house to found witch coven. Now I can host Grand Rite and get free perk for that. Well, kinda free, I still need to pay for activity. Okay, this heir is a correct one, now I just need to spread this template. I can go to Silk Road Market once again and get cocking. Alright, let's do that. Looks like a great technology, but not for me. This starts to feel more and more like my type of family. Sitting on a pile of cash, I feel the need to find opportunity for investment, so I sponsor cheapest stuff in cities. I mean, those guys will eventually have enough money to build on their own, I'm just giving them a nudge. I push for absolute crown authority and now I can appoint any child as my successor. When windmills are finished, I once again go through cities to ensure that no one will build barracks or other stupid bullshit. I also opted for a few hunting grounds, so it will be easier to hold hunts when development will max out. And then I go for guilds for another building slot. I will build hospices in capital to have a chance to stop plague at my doorstep. And fill all slots in other castle. I don't pick octogenarian for now, cause I don't have perfect traits yet. A bit of faster retention is alright. Building level 8 windmills is kinda costly, so I ran out of money again. But capital expenditure starts to bring in steady revenue. So once guilds are finished and last building slot opens up, I quickly fill it with something that makes money. I just need to wait for 2 or 3 months, press upgrade and move to the next. An unexpectedly relaxing routine. Finally, I can ask him for money. Fucking hell, first time through whole game. I am extremely disappointed. He doesn't gather enough money from people, so can't assemble necessary sum to pay to me.
Fucking embarrassing. Wasting our time.
I am getting close, so I designate heir and vote for him in Duchess. I will not put a lot into him, cause I want to faster jump into next character that is bound to surpass his father. He will also have to be prepared for Mongols. We are having another crusade. Anyway, I just reached 100 development in capital. Now money are more important than development. But development gives more money. Dilemma. Collect taxes task increases gains from domains, but since sum we are making is not astronomical, I will put him on developing other duchy. Now, with constant care, there is less chances of people from my dynasty to die, so hopefully our family will start grow faster. I got the higher priority traditions for tall gameplay and got a bit puzzled here. In the end, I decided to go with expert artisans for cheaper buildings and potential of good artifacts, cause the throne room was quite empty at that moment. Same with fascinations. Top stuff is already in place, so now I just research until I run out of options. Now with people like that, our future is bright. There are 100 now, and with fecund trait it will blow out of proportion pretty soon. Being ahead of all cultures in terms of development, I pumped up my army and really put my back into this crusade. Literally carried it on my shoulders and put my boy on throne of Romaga. Sadly, it is theocratic realm, so it will not be inherited by his children, but still some renown for House de Lacon. 60 years till late medieval and I run out of things to research. Also, I keep importing made in China innovations. I like this one, it's basically a free supper perk that applies only to crossbowmen. Did not last long enough and King Vittore IV had to ascend at 11, but when you have absolute crown authority, that is not a problem. I got a bit bored from all the architecture stuff, so I went for martial education. A rigid realized my potential arc with tournaments, hunts and universities unfolded. Merged by the sword tradition, that will allow me to have unlimited amount of kingdom level holy wars per lifetime. I can pay to get myself a horse. That will give a buff and sometimes associated events. I will name him Boreas. Alright, time to get myself some fun. I will declare holy war for Kingdom of Africa. Create duchies and give them to people of House de Lacon. This sorry excuse of a ruler decided to declare war on me, and it is eradication war. He got caught in first battle and lost something very precious. His head. His land became mine on top of that. Fucking ridiculous. I attacked Eri for Sicily. To put it simply, my army is just stronger. And distributed land among people with good genetics. Then I attacked Egypt. You start to see a pattern here, right? And you cannot have holy wars in Iberia before struggle is resolved, so I just kept fabricating claims on counties, waiting for God of RNG to give me a claim on duchy, and kept spamming holy legends. With arriving in late medieval, I restructured my army. Footmen are better in early game, but now they were partially replaced with crossbowmen. Also crossbowmen counter horse archers, that will come in handy if Mongols will reach me. I plan to take a lot from Byzantine, and Vittore is extremely good, but I mean he's not immortal. So to keep things efficient after starting war, I immediately start murder scheme. And after declaring victory, I remove peace treaty cosigner. Rinse, repeat. 10 Byzantine emperors has contracted hemochromatosis and departed premature. For the finishing touches, I will convert to orthodoxy. After, declare holy wars on kingdoms of Aquitaine, Burgundy and Italy, and wipe out everything they send my way. Pope calls for a crusade for Italy, planning to take all this beautiful land for me. I finish Kingdom of Romaga, convert to Catholicism, and pretend nothing happened. Merged water ritual cause plagues get on my nerves. And I am a germaphobe. I found a really good wife for my heir, but she doesn't have a guardian, and I can't invite her to my court, so I had to abduct her to teach her stewardship. Sardinia is a coastal nation. I like coast, so I conquered every kingdom that borders Mediterranean Sea, thus turning it into Mediterranean Lake, and created a custom empire from that. I took the Duchy of Latium from Pope and immediately gave it back to him. But now he knows. I am the one who calls for mass. changed succession law to primogeniture in combination with absolute crown authority. All inheritance problems are now resolved forever. I am very cautious, so for safety reason I attacked Mongol Empire. That went well. Let's see, he has 1600 special troops left. I wonder if they are in this stack. Yep, absolute zero now. Without them, not much of a threat. Regardless, I sent him my regards, just in case. One more, and empire broke up into pieces. I finished home estates and went for legitimacy pass, so my vassals can become more competent. Carlings in comparison with me are way ahead, but they start with 3 kings. Oh no, I got cancer. I am too young to... oh wait. It is actually fine, no regrets. This guy just returned from adventure. 1 diplomacy per level of fame and 1 learning per level of fame. Yes, that sounds pretty good, I do say so myself. Oh whoa. Well, it's fancy, but I would not be able to sit like that for long. Alright, nature takes its course. Also becoming an emperor resets counter, so King Vittore IV become Emperor Vittore I. Emperor Vittore II takes over, and apparently this guy is a stallion. Adherent to tradition, he was studying hard, leveling up stewardship, visiting Silk Road, and marrying grandchildren. He did triple treasury, so I will give it to him where it is due, but other than that he lived a remarkable life and died at the age of 140. Here comes Emperor Vittore III, my masterpiece. He goes through usual training process, but on top of routine, I am extra diligent with visiting points of interest during traveling, especially during visits to Silk Road market. One trip can give experience for quite a few perks. I was able to get whole of body without ever going into learning lifestyle, just by traveling. I even unlocked hike activity to be able to visit points of interest outside of Silk Road. After taking Dane to visit Legacy, I started touring my vessels to improve taxation. That activity costs a lot, but I easy make more than that from demanding tribute and Windows tax, especially Windows tax. I ran out of important things to level up and was hanging in diplomacy lifestyle, and that helped me to convince Crusader guys that I installed on Throne of Hungary to become my vassal, so retrospectively absolutely calculated. I conquered sizable part of land and have great development, that sadly does not radiate to my vassals. But since they are people of my dynasty, some of them are doing good job on their own, like this guy from Cairo. He is Golden Sovereign because of Legacy. I am making good money from my domain. Sardinia does not have much in terms of special buildings, but I built a lot of legendary shrines for tax increase. Everything is obviously maxed out. Torquitoriu dynasty got all legacies, but I don't have enough time to enjoy them. That was always one of my biggest problems with this game. And we went from 100 members to 6000 in less than 200 years. I would like to mention that when succession happens, some of your children that did not get land will become adventurers and then can resurface as rulers in distant land. Look here. The Emperor of Latin Empire, but that was Crusade, which I did not take part in. This guy became Emperor of Khazaria on his own. I don't know what happened there. This guy got all the way to Scandinavia and his ancestor was a duke there, I believe. King of some nomads here, king of Pontus, Hungary, Sapmi, a lot of successes. And all of that is the result of diligent matchmaking. There is even a large amount of pure-blooded. Vittore here turned out great. I have everything in diplomacy tree, cause maybe someone will decide to become a vassal. I have absolute control to earn more money from the main. I have stewardship education, so I obviously research everything here, and got myself 2 extra points from traveling, that I cannot fucking submit anywhere and notification won't go away. Here I took prepared for anything, and Court of Shadows for security reason, and fear tax to get a bit more from my vassals. Learning looks like this, and again I never research it. It all comes from traveling, holding mystical communion and grand rites. And I went into wandering for a bit of stewardship and tax contribution. Here we can see shit. The traits just won't fit, cause UI is not designed with this in mind. The way to kinda work around it is to go into the stats and see what gives the bonuses. Like here from Traveler trait, Hasteluda, from Consul, from Wife, and that is from Tron. But it is finicky to go through everything. Also because of graceful aging, I don't lose prowess from being old. Vittore is 112, but health is green, because of Herculean, Hall of Body and all the health buffs I stacked. Also the Stallion lived to 140, so you can say he had a good genetics. It is almost end date, and the last crusade has been called. There is only 3 years left, so I will try. Unfortunately too far away, takes years to get there. Come on, siege faster! It's half a year left. No! Some Paleologos was not able to defend a big city with a wall, and that ended my run. I have no option except exit. They broke my save? For fuck's sake, who does stuff like that? So long.